Over the next couple weeks, there's going to be an absurd amount of content that drops in MLB 25. So because of this, I do want to go over everything that's on the way, including the new 4th inning XP program, whether or not the May Lightning card will be worth grinding for, and a brand new Legends and Flashback Collection reward card coming very, very soon, and a lot more. So we'll go over all of this and just taking a look at what you should be doing right now in Diamond Dynasty. So I have a lot of catching up to do in the XP path because I was gone for 10 days in the middle of this 3rd inning XP path, but it is winding down, which means we're going to start seeing the cheapest prices that these 3rd inning program boss cards are going to be going for, with all these people unlocking them with double XP being on and everything. So I want to go back and look at the prices of the 2nd inning program bosses and show you guys just kind of how these compare to the prices we're seeing for the 3rd inning boss cards. So as you guys remember, this is the most expensive inning boss from the 2nd inning program, and that is Josh Gibson. I mean, his price has absolutely skyrocketed. He's up at like in the 60,000s right now, which is absolutely ridiculous. And then there also is Bob Gibson as another one who's not as expensive. He's probably like nearly half the price, but he's still really expensive. I mean, his price is basically double what it was at the end of the 2nd inning program. So obviously some opportunity there for an investment if you guys made that. But then there also is Griffey, who is actually the least expensive right here, just above, right around 27K right now. So his price did go up a little bit from the end of the 2nd inning program, but not a ton. So just thinking about like why this is the case and which ones you should invest in for the 3rd inning program. It pretty much comes down to which card are people least likely to pick when they choose the boss cards they earn, because we can only choose 2 of the 3 bosses. So if there's a couple cards that are way more popular of picks, then eventually the price on that 3rd card will just be way more because there's going to be a lot less on the market. It can be tough to say which one will eventually be the highest value card, but looking at the P1, number for all these cards, like the Bernie Williams, about 49,000, just above that. Can be a good indicator, I guess. It's not everything, but a little over 55,000 for Eric Gagne here, players that have had that P1. And then Trevor Story, you can notice quite a bit less at about 38,000. So he easily has the fewest amount of P1s, which means he probably is the least popular choice of these 3 cards. So, I'm not saying he's for sure going to skyrocket the most post 3rd inning program, but keep an eye on it. Take your own risk with investing. I'm not guaranteeing he's going to be that best choice, but if you want, investments to make, not a bad one right there. Now, just so you guys get a feel for how much total XP comes from all of the programs as a whole in Diamond Dynasty, I want to quickly go over how much comes from all the main programs. So the Cornerstone programs, there's a total of 30,000 from this inning's Cornerstone programs because there's 10K from each. Then from the Ellie program, there's about 18,000. There's 20,000 from the Rivalry program and 35K XP from the Moonshot program. Meaning from these 3 programs right here, there's 73,000 XP. And then whatever you get from the Sosa program, obviously that's just going to be getting updated throughout the month. And then there actually will be a program coming out one of the last few days of the 3rd inning program, which will have more XP. Plus, there obviously could be XP from some of the older themed programs that you did not complete before the 3rd inning program came out that you still could get. Spotlight programs, pretty straightforward. There's 5,000 and there's 4 of them, so about 20,000 from those. And then taking a look at the multiplayer program, there's a bunch in here. I know this is not for everyone, but if we take a look at it, there is a total of 105,000 XP from the multiplayer program. Definitely not bad, and plus tons of good packs in here. There's some players that you could pick up for collections at a later point in time. Then there is the new Team Affinity programs, and from each one we'll go in here. There is one for 1,000 here, and then there is one for 1,500 and then 3,000, equaling 4,500 XP for each of these teams' TA paths. And obviously you'll just passively earn this as you play the game a bunch, which I'm imagining you will for double XP. But as you're grinding the game the next couple weeks, I would definitely be grinding these new Team Affinity programs though, because there is a new Legends and Flashback collection coming on June 13th, and we will need 15 of these Color Storm TA cards for the voucher in this collection. So I would be building some theme teams where you're stacking your lineup with players from one MLB team, trying to fly through the missions until you unlock that TA player, then moving to another team, so on and so forth. Conquest, another good option for XP. As we know, there's about 4,500 XP goal for completing each of these maps. So just if you need a little bit of extra XP, don't know where to get it from, Conquest, not a bad option there. And you can figure out how you want to be playing the game to be earning this XP. But honestly, a pretty good mindless grind I've been doing is just mini seasons, because there's so many XP goals in here. Like, for making the playoffs and then winning the championship, you get like 20k XP just from doing that. And you can play on any difficulty you want on. You can get through a season fairly quickly because, you can simulate some of the regular season games once you're in the playoffs. So not a bad option there. Good XP in there. You can play through all of these mini seasons, if you choose to do so as well. So easy XP for winning games against the CPU. If you already have the third inning program complete, I would do your best to hold off on hitting some XP goals in some programs that you have yet to complete. So like if I had not completed the Moonshot yet, I would hold off, as best as I can on getting that 15,000 XP goal until the fourth inning program drops. Once it does, boom, pick that up. Same with Conquest, right? You can get to the final game on these Conquest maps. Then once that fourth inning program drops, you can quickly get that, 5,000 XP for completing the map. That's another option as well for stacking some XP. Also, you can stack XP in March to October, because you could start March to October now and basically get to before the playoffs, go back into it, finish up the playoffs, finish off the season. Right when that fourth inning program drops, boom, you got this program here with tons of XP. And, this is, like I said, just another way to stack some XP for the next inning program. So then on June 6th, the May Lightning and Retro Lightning cards will be releasing, and as of late, I know more and more people have been complaining about, and I have these same feelings too, that the weekly Spotlight programs have just kind of become a chore to complete, and if the Lightning cards aren't insanely good, then is it even worth, keeping up with all these Spotlight programs? So there's a couple ways that kind of I think about it. First of all, it does not appear that the Lightning cards will be a voucher in the upcoming Legends and Flashback collection, because this Corbin Carroll, if we take a look, he's actually in this mini Spotlight collection right here. So basically, we do know that, the Lightning cards won't be that separate voucher for the program, but we do need a lot of these Spotlight and Topps Now cards you get from these Spotlight programs while working towards the Lightning card that will actually go in these mini collections, which will help lead you to the new Legends and Flashback collection reward card. Now, unfortunately, most of the free Spotlight cards that you get from the end are at the end of these Spotlight programs right here, as I'm showing you. So in order to complete the mini Spotlight program needed for the Legends and Flashback collection, you probably will need to finish off most of these weekly Spotlight programs, even though it can get very tedious to keep up with completing. One way to get around the grind, not having to grind these programs, would be if you have a lot of stubs, you can complete the optional collections to get a bunch of the progress. But overall, these programs probably are worth doing if you're wanting that new Legends and Flashback collection reward, because you will need to complete the Spotlight mini collection along with the Topps Now mini collections. Let me know your guys' thoughts, though, about these Spotlight programs, whether you're okay with them or if you're just not really doing them and don't really care about the Lightning cards. Curious to hear your guys' thoughts about that. But as we said before, new Legends and Flashback collection is coming June 13th. Just something to keep in mind. I will have a video about this at some point where I go over, what you should be doing before that releases, making a prediction for who that reward could be. If you want to, though, right now, if there's cards around quick sell value from any of the mini collections that you're still, kind of slacking on right now, now is not a bad time to buy, as those cards, are still at quick sell value. Otherwise, continue grinding for lots of stubs. However, you usually do that, whether it's in Diamond Quest or somewhere else. If you're hoping to get this new collection reward as quickly as possible, you will probably need to be spending a decent amount of stubs, as we saw with the Scott Rowland collection reward. The last thing worth mentioning is that Weekend Classic is coming on June 6th as well, so if you were hoping to get your ranked rating up before then, I would start as soon as possible. And then with Weekend Classic coming, that does mean the multiplayer program is winding down, and we will get a new one right as Weekend Classic concludes. So lots of new content coming these next couple weeks. Let me know what you guys are looking forward to most, whether that's the Lightning or Retro Lightning card, Weekend Classic, the new Legends and Flashback Collection Award, or something else. Let me know down below. Otherwise, I appreciate you guys for sticking around to the end and watching this one. See you next time. Peace.